you got it! Barnett from Brooms!
Noel, he's looking for Doobie in the end zone.
Touchdown!
Rebound, and it goes in! It's a score for the Pioneers!
Carter for three, got it!
Welcome back to the Pioneer Sports Report. I'm Julia Kennedy alongside Luke Hetrick, bringing you once again all the best news from your favorite athletics at Sacred Heart University. We got a cool new feature going on, so if you don't hear us talking about one of your favorite teams, check the ticker at the bottom. It's going to be giving all the most recent scores from all the games this last week. But first, we're going to start it off with a bang with a couple of interviews from star athletes on the track and field team from your one and only Eric Onye-Chapelain.
Thanks, guys. You're right. They have been killing the competition alongside Coach Morrison steering the ship. So it's only fitting that I got two runners to sit down with me and talk about the recent success and what the future holds for the two seniors.
It's all about attitude. If one's down, like if one of us is feeling down or we're unsure, we just talk each other through it. We know what we're capable of, so it's just a matter of, bouncing back and finding that confidence again.
The last, 6 or 7 years, we've been fortunate to have older women on the team, juniors and seniors, who seem to be taking the lead, not just in deed, but also in performance.
We have expectations for ourselves, and obviously the team expectation is to try and win. But even though we lost by 1 point last year for outdoors, you could just see how happy everyone was. It didn't matter that we missed it by 1 point. It was just what we had done and what we had come to do.
Thanks, Eric, and best of luck to the track team and Coach Morrison the rest of the indoor season as well as the outdoor season. Weird to think that it's already getting sunny, and nope, not so much. We got that big snowstorm coming in, but maybe soon enough it'll get sunny. And then we have our outdoor spring sports coming, like volleyball, and they were in action last weekend. They started off, and then they were at home this weekend. Julia, you were at the match Friday night. What'd you see out of the boys?
We saw them getting just a really strong start off. They didn't end up winning, but what we saw was a young team learning how to play together. I had the chance to actually speak to a couple of the players after the game, the two Brazilians residing there, and they had a couple of words to say about their young team and where they're hoping their season will go.
I think that all that matters is practice. We're going hard every day, and we just gotta get experience. We need time. We work hard to make things go our way, and that I believe is the key to our success.
Great to talk to a couple of those players from the men's volleyball team. All the best luck to you guys in the rest of your season. Just getting started, so they have a long way to go. But speaking of a long way to go, our basketball season is actually still in the very middle. I feel like we have a long season left to go for both our women and men's teams. But we talked a little bit about the importance of a playmaker. What do you think is playing the biggest role for the playmaker in the men's basketball team?
Well, when I look at the men's basketball team, you can look at guys like Kane Broom and Evan Kelly, who Evan also got his 1,000th point last weekend. But what teams like Sacred Heart have that they're so successful is a floor general. And I'm talking about a point guard. You're a Portland Trail Blazers fan. You love Damian Lillard. He sets up the offense. And Phil Gaetano is absolutely that for the men's basketball team. He gets them set up. He's not going to rip up the stat sheet, but he's going to do everything solid, and he's not going to make a bunch of mistakes. That kind of leadership you need out of your point guard, and that's exactly what they're getting. They had a 4-game losing streak, and they look to actually turn that around on Thursday against FDU.
Pioneers taking on FDU Thursday night before the game. Evan Kelly honored for his 1,000th point, and he was ready to go early in this one. Here's Jordan Allen. He finds him in the corner. Kelly hangs in the air for the tough two. Hoop, but no harm. Pioneers up early. And then it's Phil Gaetano. Little pick, and here comes the pop. Davon Barnett. Mid-range J is good to go. Pioneers led by as many as 10 in the first half. Second half, Kelly much of the same. The step back fadeaway jumper making it easy. The Pioneers, though, would fall behind in this one as FDU would come out to a big lead. Steve Glowiak leading the comeback charge. The sweet move off the glass. That gets it to go. Tied at 71 here in the final seconds. Freshman Kane Broom drives for the win. It's in and out. We go to overtime. So close with Broom on that one. Pioneers lead in overtime by 1. Final seconds. Mustafa Jones, he finds Darian Anderson. The drive, the win at the buzzer. Gets it to go, but they review the play. They say it did not leave his hands before the buzzer sounded. Pioneers win 78-77 in overtime. Huge showdown in women's basketball. Sacred Heart traveling to take on first place Bryant. This one a good one from the start. Here's Hannah Kimmel, drives left to right. The scoop shot goes, I don't know how she made that one. And then it's Katie Shepard answering from the wing. She had 15 and 7. And then Shepard to Kimmel, roommate extension on the court. The connection with them. Pioneers led by as many as 15. And then it's Shepard driving coast to coast. The layup off the glass, but Sacred Heart falls at Bryant by 4.
Great to see what the women's basketball team is doing. They did take a loss on that game, bit of a bummer, but compared to the rest of their season, which has been absolutely phenomenal, you really just can't even compare, especially when you're talking about those necessary players that you need out there on the teams, those playmakers, the ones who might not necessarily be all over the stat sheet, but they're making everything happen out there. Without them, the team kind of crumbles. And for women's basketball, that's Katie Shepard. You know, what can you just say about someone who is so integral to the team?
Absolutely. You have to talk about Katie Shepard and what Phil Gaetano is to the men's team. Katie is to the women's team. When we talk about most valuable player, it doesn't mean the player that scores the most or makes all the highlight plays. It's the person that has the most value to the team. You take Katie Shepard away from this women's basketball team, to be honest, they're not having the success that they are. She makes everyone around them better. And girls like Hannah Kimmel and Gabby Washington and Daisha Williams, they could still put up numbers, but without Katie giving them the ball and setting them up, I don't know how good those numbers are going to look. She plays really well, she gets them set up, and she can play in different styles. That's what's so fascinating about her. She can play up-tempo, slow it down, work off the pick and roll. Whatever you ask her to do, score, rebound, defend, she does it all. Same with Phil Gaetano. And you love to see players like that just do everything that they're asked of. Maybe it's not the most fun thing to do, but they get it done. And we want to see more players like Phil and Katie in college basketball. And we want to see more wins and highlights out of our Sacred Heart teams. And you're going to get that here on the Pioneer Sports Report. For Julia Kennedy, I'm Luke Hetrick. We'll see you next time. Have a good night, everyone.